Once upon a time, in a village called Gardenia, there lived a large flock of sheep on a lush stretch of land. The grass on the farm was always green and abundant. Fruit trees grew everywhere, and every day their shepherd, Emmanuel, made sure they enjoyed sweet, nourishing fruit, not just grass. They never lacked water. In the center of the farm flowed a river that never ran dry, always clean and refreshing. Emmanuel cared for his flock like his own children, and he loved them deeply. At night, he led them into a safe, cozy, spacious enclosure he had built himself, so large and sturdy that it matched his own house. It was well lit, secure from predators, and thoroughly cleaned every evening before the sheep settled in. He always ensured there was enough water and warmth for the night. The sheep were free to roam anywhere within the farm, even inside Emmanuel's house. But there was one boundary they were never allowed to cross, the fence surrounding the land. Still, they never complained. Emmanuel provided everything they needed. One hot, sunny afternoon, the youngest lamb, was grazing by the fence under a mango tree. Suddenly, he heard a voice from beyond the boundary. "This fruit is so sweet." Startled, Lamb looked toward the voice and saw a young man much younger than Emmanuel sitting on a rock with something red in his hands. When he noticed Lamb watching, the young man took a slow bite of the fruit and let out a dramatic sigh of satisfaction. "You want to try it?" he asked gently. Lamb had never seen such a fruit before. Curiosity tugged at him, but caution pulled just as strongly. His mother had reminded him many times. Emmanuel said they must never go past the fence. The young man Lucian noticed the hesitation in the lamb's eyes. "Why do you look so afraid?" he asked softly. "Did Emmanuel tell you not to take food from people you don't know?" "Don't worry. I'm not a stranger. I know Emmanuel, and he knows me." Lamb shook his head. "He said we must never go past the fence." Lucian chuckled lightly. "Ah, classic Emmanuel. Always so cautious." He sighed, a sound of understanding, not judgment. "He loves you, of course. But he also wants to keep you little, doesn't he? Safe and small, where he is the only one who knows what's best." There was a faint glimmer in his eyes, something sharp, something dark, but Lamb, innocent and eager, didn't notice. "It's just a taste of fruit, little one. Something sweet that doesn't bruise a gentle spirit like yours. Emmanuel doesn't have fruit like this. He'd never risk you having so much fun." He stretched out his hand through the slats of the fence, holding the red fruit close enough for Lamb to reach without stepping over the boundary. Curiosity won. "As long as I don't go over the fence." "It's okay," Lamb told himself. "Emmanuel won't mind." Lamb stepped forward, took the fruit from Lucian's hand, and ate it. The moment the fruit touched Lamb's tongue, a burst of sweetness exploded in his mouth, unlike anything he had ever tasted before. "It's so yummy," Lamb exclaimed, his eyes lighting up. Lucian chuckled softly. "I told you," he said, leaning closer. "If you like it, I can bring one to you every day. Same time, same place." Lamb, innocent and excited, looked at Lucian with wide, grateful eyes and eagerly nodded. Lucian smiled a gentle smile, hiding something deeper. "But," he whispered, "we need to keep this just between us. A secret. Emmanuel won't understand." The lamb was confused. Ever since he was born, he had known Emmanuel as a good, loving, understanding shepherd. He had never once felt the need to hide anything from him. "I'm not sure about that," Lamb said quietly. "I know I can trust Emmanuel with anything. I'm sure he'll understand." Lucian laughed lightly at first, but with an unmistakable evil gleam in his eyes, hidden behind a seemingly sincere smile. "You are too trusting, little lamb," he said. The young lamb did not understand the double meaning behind Lucian's words. He didn't understand that they were both a warning and a mockery. But he would soon find out, though a little too late. "But I don't blame you," Lucien continued, his voice laced with false sympathy. "You're very young." He paused, as if thinking of something generous. "Let's do this," he said. "Tomorrow, I'll show up at the same time, same place, with more fruit. You get to choose whether to come or not. If you come, I'll know you decided to keep our little secret. If you don't show up, I'll know you told Emmanuel. And I'll leave." He sighed, pretending to be disappointed, as if the thought truly saddened him. "But remember, little lamb," he added softly, "if you choose to come, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just having a little fun like today. Do you see? You didn't even go beyond the fence." Lamb began to think. It was true. He had not crossed the fence. He had not broken Emmanuel's rule. And he wanted to taste that fruit again. Lucien watched as the gears turned in the young lamb's mind, and a slow, sinister smile curved on his face. He knew the lamb was so close to choosing the path he wanted. So he pushed one step further. "Tomorrow," he said smoothly, "I'll bring a new fruit, one even sweeter than what you tasted today. A fruit you can only find on this side of the fence. If you loved today's fruit, you'll love tomorrow's even more." Hearing that, Lamb's curiosity swelled. "As long as I don't cross the fence," he reasoned, "I can come and try the new fruit. I can have the best of both worlds." So he made up his mind. "Okay, I'll meet you here tomorrow," Lamb said. "Perfect," Lucien replied, smiling broadly. "See you tomorrow, little lamb." He walked backwards into the trees, never taking his eyes off the young ram, until he finally disappeared into the shadows. Lamb turned away from the fence and trotted back toward the rest of the flock. "I'm only going to try out a new fruit," he told himself. "There's no harm in that, right?" That night, as usual, Emmanuel led each of the sheep into the enclosure, calling them by name. When it was the young lamb's turn, Emmanuel lingered. He gently stroked the lamb's head, then knelt until their foreheads touched. He closed his eyes, still caressing the sides of the lamb's face with deep, fatherly affection. In that quiet moment, Lamb felt a tug in his heart, a whisper urging him to speak, to tell Emmanuel everything. He opened his mouth, but closed it again. If he told Emmanuel, he knew he would not be allowed to return to the fence tomorrow. And he wanted that fruit, that sweetness, that new excitement. So he convinced himself, it's only one time. It won't hurt anyone. And I'm not breaking a rule, am I? Or so he thought. That night, the enclosure felt warmer, the straw softer, and the sound of the nearby river more soothing than ever before. But Lamb could not sleep. He tried to count the stars visible through the skylight, but his mind kept returning to the taste of the red fruit and the sound of Lucien's whispering voice. He had never felt this way before, restless, slightly anxious, yet buzzing with a secret excitement. The next morning, the sun rose, painting the sky in soft hues of pink and gold. But Lamb was up before the rest of the flock. He went straight to the river for a long, refreshing drink, then grazed listlessly. The abundant grass, which usually tasted sweet and nourishing, now seemed dull. Even the ripe mangoes falling from the tree tasted less sweet than usual. Lamb felt a growing impatience. He longed for the appointed hour to arrive. When the sun finally reached its highest point, casting a short shadow, Lamb trotted to the mango tree by the fence. He looked around. Emmanuel was nowhere in sight. He was overseeing the cleaning of the enclosure on the far side of the farm. Lamb waited, his ears twitching nervously. After a few minutes, he heard the faint sound of crunching leaves, and Lucien emerged from the shadows beyond the fence. He smiled warmly, holding two different fruits this time. One was a deep purple, the other a vibrant gold. "I see you decided to keep our secret," Lucien said, his eyes glittering. Lamb lowered his head, feeling a strange mix of shame and triumph. "You promised a new fruit," he whispered, barely meeting Lucien's gaze. Lucien reached through the fence, offering the purple fruit first. "This one is called the Dream Eater," he murmured. "It tastes like all the secret wishes you've ever had." Lamb hesitated for a fraction of a second, then took the fruit. As he bit into it, the flavor was so intense, so overwhelmingly sweet and intoxicating, that his legs almost buckled. "Wow," Lamb breathed, completely lost in the taste. "Told you," Lucien said, his voice smooth as silk. "And the gold one is even better." "But," he added, pulling the golden fruit back slightly, "there's a catch." Lamb looked up, his excitement instantly replaced by alarm. "A catch?" "It's a very delicate fruit," Lucien explained, his voice becoming low and conspiratorial. "It bruises easily. If I push it through the slats of the fence like this," he demonstrated, pushing the fruit until it scraped the wood, "it will lose its sweetness. And that would be a tragedy, wouldn't it?" Lamb felt his throat tighten. "So how do I eat it?" Lamb asked, his voice trembling slightly. Lucien leaned closer, his breath smelling faintly of dust and something acrid. "It's simple, little lamb. You just need to step past the fence, just for a minute. See? There's a loose slat right here." Lucien pointed to a section of the fence where one of the horizontal boards was slightly warped and had been pushed inward, creating a gap just wide enough for a young lamb to squeeze through. "You take one step outside, grab the fruit, and come right back in. Emmanuel will never know." Lamb's heart hammered against his ribs. Never go past the fence. That was the absolute, non-negotiable rule. "I can't," Lamb whispered, stepping back. Emmanuel said, "Emmanuel, Emmanuel, Emmanuel." Lucien interrupted, his voice edged with impatience. "He treats you like a prisoner, little lamb. He keeps you confined and scared. Don't you want to be free for just one moment? To truly taste life?" He held the golden fruit up to the light. It shone like a small, perfect sun. "This fruit is called freedom," Lucien continued, his voice dropping back to a persuasive whisper. "It is the taste of choice, of doing what you want, when you want. You'll never experience anything like it in Emmanuel's cage." The pull of the fruit, the promise of a flavor beyond the Dream Eater, was overwhelming. Just one step. Get the fruit and step back. No one will know. Lamb took a deep, shaky breath. Slowly, carefully, Lamb pushed his small body through the gap in the fence. The dry, brittle grass on the other side felt scratchy and unfamiliar beneath his hooves. He was outside. The moment he felt the strange ground, a wave of cold panic washed over him, but Lucien was right there, pressing the smooth, golden fruit into his mouth. Lamb bit down. It wasn't sweet. The flavor was intense, yes, but it was bitter. A sharp, metallic, girthy taste that made his eyes water. It tasted of dirt and decay. Lamb spat the piece of fruit out onto the ground. "What is this?" he cried, staring up at Lucien with sudden terror. "It's horrible." Lucien didn't laugh this time. He just smiled, a wide, predatory, chilling smile that revealed too many teeth. The earlier gentle mask was gone, replaced by a cold, calculating cruelty. "That, little lamb," Lucien hissed, stepping closer, blocking the small gap in the fence with his body, "is the true taste of this world. And now that you have stepped outside of the safe boundaries of your shepherd's love, you belong to me." Just as those terrible words left Lucien's lips, a loud, agonizing snap echoed through the air. Lamb spun around and saw that the loose slat had suddenly sprung back into place, sealing the fence completely. Lamb was trapped. He frantically scrambled back towards the fence, pushing with his head and shoulders, but the wood held fast. He bleated, a cry of sheer terror tearing from his lungs. "Emmanuel!" he cried. "Emmanuel, help me!" Lucien placed a heavy, cold hand on the lamb's back, pressing him down. "He can't hear you now," he mocked, his voice a low, triumphant snarl. "The fence is stronger than you think. And it wasn't designed to keep things out. It was designed to keep you safe." The young ram finally understood. Emmanuel had built the fence as a wall of protection, not a prison. The moment Lamb sought a deceitful, better thing outside, he walked right into a trap. He looked back at the green, perfect farm, where the river flowed and the grass shone, and he saw his shepherd, Emmanuel, suddenly stop working. Emmanuel slowly turned his head, his eyes filled with a pain deeper than any physical injury, locking onto the place where his youngest lamb now stood, trembling and completely exposed on the wrong side of the fence. The true world was not a place of sweet golden fruit. It was a place of cold shadows, sharp pain, and the terrifying knowledge that he was utterly, miserably alone. As Lucien's cold hand clamped down on Lamb's back, a desperate, final question tore through the lamb's mind. Would the shepherd cross the boundary? Or was the cost of the fence too high even for Emmanuel's love?